is iRacing.
Well, last week it was a fast race of Monza without the first chicane. Togo Hisada and Paulie Partonen led the field with the rest of the start swapping fast times after lap in each lap. But in the end, it was Partonen over Hisada by 0.014 seconds, the closest finish ever in the Lotus 79 Championship. This week, we take it on the historic tracks with a spa day per se, more namely the beast known as Spa-Francorchamps. Will we see another episode of the Parton-Hisada show, or will the sting of not making it to the lead duo fuel Gernot Frisha to make his mark on the top step of the podium? It won't take long for us to find out. It's the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series on iRacing, presented by GSRC. Hi, everybody, alongside Craig King with Daniel Costello and Christian Duploy plugging in our sound, and the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. My name is Jeremy Scott. Now, Craig, on paper, it's been all pertinent, but as we know, what's on paper is totally different from what really has been going on the past 3 rounds.
How do you just start, really? It's just an absolute chaotic around here. Just everybody just swapping and turning between those two. You've got other people just coming to jump in. 2 hours ago, they had a practice race. They had a little bit of a warm-up. The gap between those two was just a 10th. And again, it was Partonen beating them. So what actually makes this track cook? Why is this such a classic? Because it is being used everywhere in iRacing. I think it's only fair that we show you, brought to you with the GSRC track guide, with Joe Peak for giving us all the information.
Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. Less than an hour's drive east from the German border, this Belgian track has come to define racing for many different eras in the sport. It's no wonder it continues to entrance drivers when you look at the stats. The 7 kilometers over the course of a lap includes more than 330 feet in elevation change as it weaves its way through the Ardennes forest. Packed into this is 19 turns, some of which are considered among the most famous in the world of racing. Corners like La Source and Blanchemont have been on the lips of drivers for decades. But by far the most notorious is Eau Rouge and Rétillon. Typically referred to in name by just the first section, it dips low and swings left, then compresses and climbs to the right up a massive hill. The sequence ends with a completely blind crest that sweeps to the left and leads onto the incredibly long Kemmel Straight. The bravery required to be fast through there will pay off towards one of the most popular passing spots at Lacombe. Eau Rouge is exemplary of the rest of the circuit though. Most of the turns are incredibly fast and many include much of that signature elevation change. As jaw-dropping as the track is, you have to remember that this is the modern truncated layout. The old one, raced until 1979, was 14 kilometers in length, yet carried an average speed of 150 miles per hour. Present-day safety measures do cut down on the danger, but even in recent history, the circuit has proven deadly. It's clear why this track continues to be revered and respected by racers the world round.
And Craig, the last time you and I worked together with Lotus 79, it was at one of my favorite tracks, Road America track I know well. This one, though, we're not using the quote-unquote Grand Prix layout per se because we're starting in a different part of the racetrack, a more historic part of the racetrack.
Yeah, we're using the classic pits today, which also means the classic start. And because these are grid starts, not formations, it is going to be on the run down to Eau Rouge and Rétillon, which has been a little bit treacherous in some of the races this week. But here it is as we just go on board. I'm going to be going over here in less than a month to see some racing. So let's just get a nice idea of what we're seeing. You see Blanchimont right there, a lovely little corner high speed. And that's the name of the game around here today. It's just a lot of speed out there and just working together on those straights, the Kemmel straight, on the way to Blanchimont to the bus stop chicane, especially as well, just there after you get out of Pujon. Just a lot of opportunities, really testing the downforce of the car. It's all about speed. And the one thing I always love as we just see this track, that corner section, 5, 6, and 7, the Com into Malmedy. It is so tough. One of the key things I was always told, compromise your exit. You're going to see a lot of that today, and you wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of side-by-side out there today.
No, exactly, especially since you've got several passes for opportunities for passing, I should say. And like we said, I'm interested to see how these drivers handle that run into Eau Rouge and Merdillion and the opening part of the lap. Well, qualifying has gotten underway as drivers are making their way around the circuit for the first time to see where they're going to be. But let's take a look at the standings right now in the F1 side of this series. Partanen, it's been all him, but Hesada and Freccia, I think they've been knocking on the door. Hesada more like pounding on the door to get onto the top step of the podium, but Partanen's just been finding ways to win over the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, it is very close out there between those drivers. Actually, really close altogether when you think. They're basically 1, 2, and 3, apart from Freccia, who did not get third at the start of the season in that first race. But they are so close, and they haven't factored in drop weeks left. There is other championships going on, though. You have the F2, the drivers that are under a certain iRating. Aaron Blair is leading them off at the moment. Juan Semenyo, though, really interesting name here because 2 rated, didn't go at Sebring. He's here. He came second in the second split last week, and that gave him quite a lot of points as well due to his average lap time. Really starts to throw him up that order. Blair has to be careful out there because it's going to be very tight going down the line when you see how close all these are. But also, one of the things I love about this community, though, Jeremy, there is also a team championship.
Yeah, this team championship has been all Ferrari with just one driver, Gernot Freccia leading that charge. Martini in second place with Herner and Blair. Olympus looking pretty good in third, so tight up near the top in this team championship. It's still anybody's championship with 4 races in the books after today, but still, Freccia really taking the Ferrari battle to his own. Freckleton also in TVR, can't really fault him either, 172 points back, but he's still the only driver there, Craig, that is running with that team.
Yeah, and we always know we love seeing that purple TVR car from Dylan Freckleton. Of course, we see Freccia in that Ferrari. This is something on the iRacing forums if you want to get involved. The Saturday Championship, or the Sunday Championship, sorry, I'll get my dates right. All information on the forums and a link to their Discord, because this is community driven as you get to see the race details. I always love to say it, and I will say it as well in a minute, but it's 21 laps around here. As we just start to get going, 21 laps around here. There is an open setup, so you get those setups that the community helps to make, or you make them yourself. You bring what you made, but don't crash it, because that's all you've got. There is no spare car out here today. A drive-through at 17 incident points, disqualification at 25. On a race like this, in the old days, when 17 incident points used to be disqualification, you saw drivers flirt with it. But nowadays, a little bit more definition on the curbing, Jeremy. It does feel like you don't see that a lot nowadays.
No, you really don't, and you definitely want to keep it clean, especially around here, because while there are wide runoff zones, they can still bite, as we've seen plenty of times, whether it's here on the service or in real life. I just love these shots because Spa is one of those tracks where I've been wanting to get to for years, and it's just trying to find a time to get out there. Togo Hesada, your fastest so far in qualifying with a 2:02.5, as we are watching cars get one more opportunity to lap. Courtney, look at him. He's sitting in second place right now, 0.2 of a second back. Then you got Partanen, Zamola, and Banfield right now, your top 5 in qualifying. So far, we've seen 21 cars log times. 3, 5, 7, 28 cars on the track right now, Craig, for qualifying. And with the track this big, it's easy to kind of spread out and get a good lap in normal conditions. But right now, If you're qualifying, it's just you on the track.
It's just you on the track, so there's no issues. The only issue is yourself. Once you know what you're doing, because Topi Courtenay coming out of campus and into Stavlo, he goes to that final straight. Interesting with Courtenay. A little bit of an issue earlier yesterday in other races, but able to come back. A legend, not just in this, but in other historic series, is Courtenay. Always great to see him back out. And there is Togo Hisada. He'll be on his seat right now, streaming live. Very interesting to see what he does, and we're going to be on board. In fact, you saw on board with him during the iRacing highlights this week. You're going to see a lot more on board, I feel, today. He's just come around Blanchard really fast. Parsonen does not overtake Hisada. That's interesting. Neither did Courtenay. Looks a little bit rough, but it's a very good bus stop there for Hisada. The number 6 car, 6th highest iRating, will take another chunk of time out. No, he won't, because remember, this is the classic Grand Prix. This is the finish line.
Yeah, the run down the what we're going to call now the pit straight, as we see what he does when he crosses the line just under the CrowdStrike bridge. 2:02.4. He beats his fastest time so far. So Hisada just opening that gap up between he and Partonen. But I have a feeling that that's not going to matter too much in the race. Here's Gernot Fricha down to 8th. See what he does as he goes through the chicane down the Grand Prix pit straight, as we will call it right now, as we'll run our own regular pit straight in just a little bit, heading into La Source. Heavy on the brakes, makes that tight right-hander off just on the chicanes, I should say the rumble strips. And I like how it is gravel here. It's gravel on the exit of La Source. Across the line, 2:03.1. That's his fastest time, bumps him up to 6th.
Yeah, really good time there of him. Drag David Spickett, he had a good race last week. Really starting to get the grips with a new hardware setup. Just a little bit hesitant turning in there for La Source. Very interesting to have La Source the final corner. That could be very interesting later in the race, I feel. Could get a nice little drive. Does not set the time just at the last moment. He gets P10.
So the grid is set for today's race, as Togo Hisada once again takes that top spot, and he'll be alongside his rival this season, Paulie Partonen. Row 2 will be Topi Courtenay alongside Ross Banfield, Brandon Roseborough, followed by Gernot Fricha, which you saw at his lap, Nick Tyson and Ali Zamola in row 4. Rasputik and Spickett make up row 5.
Go to the second page, and it was Timothy Reed who is in 11th. Kel Enna Sensen will be 12th, with Paul Williams in 13th. Then Arturus Gunnaris makes a switch over. He's in 14th, with Aaron Blair in 15th. Gabby Martinez will be 16th, with Hans Sommer in 17th. Philip Kuhnhart almost tied with him. He's in 18th, with Dylan Freckleton in 19th. And Peter Kersiak will be 20th.
Well, taking a look at row number 11 as we see cars gridding up. Ryan Turcotte and Tyler Green will make up that row. Barry West had a great race last week. Let's see if he can turn it into something good this week. He'll be alongside Ryan Ware in row 12. Row 13, Jack Wells and Alex King, and not making times, Jason Clapper and Daniel Gallus will round out your field. 28 cars will answer the call here shortly as we start to see more and more cars show up here on this race. What are you expecting here, Craig?
Well, it's all going to come down, run down the Kemmel Straight. The comp's going to be the vital moment here. We may see an incident at the Kemmel Straight today, Jeremy. It is going to be some side-by-side. Maybe not at the front, but that mid-pack, we're going to see all the action yet again, I feel, at that mid-pack. Just a couple more drivers waiting. What can Hisada do, though? He gets the inside this week. He hasn't had good launches every time he's been pole. But that 3/10 difference in pace, maybe that will help him.
May help him. I agree, and I think your assessment of seeing what happens down the Kemmel Straight is very valid, because that is our first opportunity of heavy braking. So we'll see cars go up Eau Rouge. You hear the revs come up. We're just about ready to get started. Glad to have you with us here on the iRacing channel. The cars are away as Hisada gets a start, but look at Partonen. He's going to try and hang tough as they go through Eau Rouge and into Rodillion as they go up into the Kemmel Straight. So far, so good. Just a couple of cars that have gone into the run-up, but no harm, no foul here. Here's a 3-wide battle for the lead between Parton and Hassan and Courtney as they go into Lacombe. Who's going to be up at the front? It looks like it's Parton going high, wide, and handsome through that section.
Tell you what, Courtney's just had to hold on to that little bit of scrolliness on the cold tires. He's made it work. Couple drivers also having a bad start. Going up Freisha going down 2 position. Hasada technically going down 2 position as well. Not the best for him. We talked about Barry West in the background. He's up 4 position. Courtney, Hasada still having this little battle. It's very tough out there. They don't want to be battling too much. They want to keep in the slipstream of Partonen. If they lose it early, it's going to be a long race by. More side by side in the background.
Courtney with a good start. Hasada with a nightmare start. We don't normally see him fall back so much here at the start, but look at Partonen. He's already 1.1 seconds up from the field. That was fantastic. That's exactly what he needed to do. And him going around the outside and Lacombs really made things a lot easier as we see these battles here in the middle of the pack. That's Martinez and Spickett going side by side. Oh, is that a little wiggle out of Spickett? He's having problems as he's going through the gravel trap now. Not good.
I think it was a little tap with somebody going into La Fagna, just losing a little bit of the control. Cold tires onto that gravel, never going to work. Good little move there from Svensson to get around Paul Williams, or get inside Paul Williams at Blanchimont, held onto it, and there is some other battles just up ahead. Saw Sam Ola trying to get to Nick Fiss, and this Gabby Martinez looking to make a move. Never going to work, and he has been spun around. Paul Williams has been spun around. Drivers trying to get around, and Hans Sommer had nowhere to go, and he collects a broken wing.
Yeah, Sommer able to get going, but nonetheless, Williams looking on the wrong side of the field as he saw the field come through the chicane. As we see more cars go off Turcotte with a little bit of it off as well. But still, one wheel is off of one of the cars. Not sure which one that is. I think that's Barry West. We talked about him last week. He's running on 3 wheels, missed the pit entrance. Now he's got to go the long way around the circuit to get back in. Can he make it around? You're on board with the driver from the aisles as he looks and sees that, yeah, you've got 2 front wheels, Barry, but your right rear, that's going to be gone.
Might be gone. He's going to have to just watch it. Loving that setup because we get to see what he sees with that monitor just there with his VR. Always nice to see what some of the drivers do. Everyone riding differently. H pattern, paddle shifters, VR, triples, ultra wide. It doesn't matter. You race with what you got. You have some fun. Preacher going up the order. He has had a terrible start. Look at it. He's 10th. He's -4 for the day. Aside from the guys at the back of the field, he's the biggest loser so far, and that's not the television show he expects to be on, because he really wants to be in the sim racing television show live on iRacing.
And that's kind of weird to see Freisha make his way so far back. We're expecting big things out of him after qualifying 6th, but still, it's a long race. 21 laps, anything can happen, as we've seen the past couple of corners with mayhem happening from like turn 19 all the way over to La Source. Looking at Hasada, he's trying to get back on that second step of the podium, trying to get around Courtney. Looks at the outside. Courtney shuts the door on him. Next opportunity Togo's going to have is going to be at the chicane, and he's going to look to the inside. They're going to be side by side, and Hasada easily dispatches a Courtney. Now he wants that lead. He doesn't want Partonen to get 4 in a row and have to sit in second place once again. He wants to close up that points battle already. I mean, it's already 4 races in, but you still don't want to dig yourself that big of a hole this early in the season.
No, he does get drop weeks, and drop weeks will come into factor in a couple weeks' time. But ideally, you want to try and keep close together. He has lost a little bit of time to Partonen going faster, but Hasada just responded from 4/10 faster. Of course, and then he cannot catch him. This is going to be interesting because right behind them, name we've not talked about, Brandon Roseborough. Everybody is still bunched up together here from 1st all the way to 7th. Yes, the gap between 1st and 2nd is quite far. Still a little bit of slipstream there from Hasada. But now he's clear of Courtney. He's got a little bit of dirty yet. He's going to need to work this out here. At the same time, can he work with Courtney to almost slingshot himself back up to Partonen? Could be very interesting. Banfield looking to try and make a move on Roseborough. Not going to make that stick.
And Roseborough taking the long way around turn 10, heading into 11. What I found interesting is we're using the F1 turn 11 through Bruxelles. Now you see the inside, it was always a quick left-hander. Well, now it's a little bit harder left-hander, so it makes it a little bit easier, tried to make it easier to pass, but I kind of wish we would have gone with the old one, but nonetheless, it's still a pleasure to be racing here at Spa. You're on board with Tyson as he wants a piece of that fourth place battle between Roseboro and Banfield. Going to do all he can to keep up. A little bit of dirt kicked up by Banfield, but no harm, no foul. You still see third and second place, Hesada and Cortinemi up ahead, but I don't know how much longer you're going to see him because in some parts you see Partinen trying to open up a gap, but look at that gap between Partinen and Hesada. We've seen it as high as 1.2, 1.3 seconds. Now it's 9/8 of a second. So Hesada just chipping away at that lead.
Chipping away, but the gap there is not good enough with the slipstream. He's trying to catch up to Partinen. You can see it on the GSRC timing tower. The very nice graphics we got there. We're watching Peterson trying to find a way to keep up with Banfield. It feels like a lot of drivers, they trimmed a lot of wing out, and that's not going to help because if you're all bunched up here, it's going to have a little bit of a mission, a little bit of an issue. The cars come across the line. Really curious to see what the lap times are. It's a 2:04.4 for Partinen. It's a 2:04 flat. Well, it's a 2:04.3. You can see it's fastest once again for Sada. Look at this. This is what you'd be seeing later in the race. A lot of pack racing with Peterson trying to get through these two.
Now we see Banfield looking to the inside of Roseboro. He's going to make that stick. Tyson trying to get his way around, but he was just a little bit too far away for that slipstream to take hold. That's also given Zamola a chance to catch up. And we're also seeing this battle for 13th. I want to correct myself because I want to thank, this is a community, so we learn from one another. I've been told that the new chicane, per se, is on the old left. That's the old left. The bike left is actually the new one. So I want to thank Michael Turk for making that one known. Much appreciated. Here comes Gallus in the number 19 going around the inside. I do believe that is now a four-wheeled Barry West. So Barry West tried the three-wheel, didn't work out for him too well, so he's back on all fours.
Yeah, back on all four tires. Where he wants to be right now and get more action with Barry. Remember, if you're on the broadcast, you can always submit your live camera so we can see what you're doing. I just realized I thought he had like a fake robot head in front of him. No, that's the cooling system he's got there, and it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, a lot of heat. In the summer, you've got to go with your shorts on, and these guys don't need shorts. They need every bit of aerodynamic they can get. It started catching. The last two laps have been blistering pace. Now he's right on the back, but he's managed to pull away from Cortinemi. Topi's a legend, but the legends, sometimes they cannot hold up with the youth. The future's now old man, is saying Hesada. Is it going to be fourth time lucky?
Well, it didn't take long for Hesada to catch up. Now, as we've seen from the previous races, catching Partinen's one thing, trying to get around him is another thing. And that's when Hesada drops a gear and gets ready to do whatever he needs to do to get in the lead. Let's see if he does anything down the chemistry as they come off, and he will, because Partinen's just going to try and go to the inside, do some defense, but that's not going to be enough because Hesada right now has a nose, but Partinen has the advantage through the Lacombe's chicane, and he's going to use it for now, and he actually opens up, and Hesada lets off just a little bit. It's still early, so discretion's a better part of valor, in the words of Togo.
Yeah, just wait a moment. Again, remember, we've still got like 18 laps to go. I don't know, 15 laps to go or so. 16, 17. We've got a lot of time left to run in this race. You don't need to take the lead right away, but what's interesting, look at that timing tower, ladies and gentlemen. Because of that little battle those two had, a little bit of a mistake, both of them losing traction. I saw the car just sliding a little bit from Partinen. They've allowed Cortinemi to catch back up. So this is the issue. They're fast enough on their own. That's no offense to Cortinemi. There he is.
This is just such a great battle here, and we're seeing Cortinemi doing all he can to catch up to the battle for lead. He has to dispatch a Banfield as well, as Banfield and Tyson also in a battle there for fourth place. But this is the battle we're watching here. It is Partinen and Hesada. Hesada Boskosi was last time by. So he's already known what he's done on the Camel Straight. Let's see if he can do it again as he closes in on the chicane, too far away to make anything happen. you got to be brave to do something on the chicane because that is such a tight area. Granted, I'm going back to when I was a kid. I loved the bus stop through that stretch. And they had, FIA had to do what they had to do. Here's Jack Wells in a battle as well for the 17th spot. And that looks like that is Kosesny with the pass being made right there. But back to what I was saying, I feel like the chicane, yeah, it's great to have it there, but part of me misses the old bus stop right there at the chicane.
Yeah, I remember the bus stop. A lot of action happened at the bus stop, but I do like what they tried to do. And when you think this is no longer the start-finish straight, the start-finish straight is it is now where it is. That chicane, it kind of opens up people trying to do some late dive heroic. You have the classic. That the source, in my opinion, is a much better attacking corner to look at some moves to see Wells going side by side with Pesny, and I think he may get it this time. There is a little bit of an overlap. See what happens. Wells decides against it. Wide goes Peter, and he tries to compromise the exit that you're meant to here at the comp. Not working for him through Malmedy. Wells is going to get a really good run here. There's nothing he can do if they go to Purcell. Great little battle. In fact, he may use the downforce to fight it. It's just not working for him. He may let Ryan Ware come through. They almost touch. They do touch. Almost came together.
I'll tell you what, I'm really digging the paint scheme and the helmet combo of Wells there as he moves into 17th. And Tyler Green, he's now locked in that battle for 18th spot, right? It is Kosesny, Ware, and Green for 18th.
Yeah, and you know what I like about that, Jeremy, though, is again, it just shows the battles are happening everywhere. We talked about it last week, a lot of battling going on, and the nature of this track, it's such a slipstream track. People love it because of the speeds you can do, but also people love it because it brings everybody together. You're not going to have a lot of people doing a lot of bubble racing on their own around this track because everyone is just going to be catching up together. As you see, Tyler looks to see what he can make around here with Ryan Ware and Peter Kwesny. It looks like Ware will be able to try and make a move. Going to be tough around the outside. Usually this is desperation corner, as I was saying. Won't be this time. Ryan may give himself a chance to get it through the source.
Another battle on the track that's worth watching is Zamola and Rosenborough for 6th place. Zamola got around Rosenborough, but they're still locked into battle there further up the track as we see Hesada trying to look into the mirrors of Partanen there. Oh, look at that, a little bit of switchback move as Hesada gets the inside that he wants, but not able to get on the brakes fast enough. This is giving Courtney a chance, and look at that slide by Banfield. Zamola also trying to hold off his position as well for 7th. So you've got the battle for 1st, battle for 3rd, battle for 5th. You've got battles all over the top 10 as well.
You know how I call it, Jeremy? Battles on battles on battles. Jack David Spickett, unfortunately, had a moment out there. He's one of our early retirees. It looks like he's had hardware failure. Yeah, he just lost control of the car. That's unfortunate. We'll look at that later. You see Zamamola continuing on. Very interesting to see, even now, drivers struggling with the grip. For those interested, track temperature 26 Celsius, 78 Fahrenheit. Humidity is high, so that's going to be affecting some of the speed as well. 71% humidity. It's a warmer afternoon here at Spa, and it just goes to show that that is also providing a little bit of an issue out there. And then when you bring in the wind factor, the wind 17 kilometers an hour westerly. So right now they're getting a little bit of a side wind. When they come around the corner at Blanchimont, the wind will be straight in their face. Oh yeah, you're not going to try go side by side through Blanchimont. He is, and he holds it. He gets that overtake done right away, and Roseborough's got nothing else to do.
All he has to do is just set himself up for going through Eau Rouge, and there's looking at the back of Zamola as Roseborough basically closes in, but loses a little bit of gap through the chicane. And also this battle here between Banfield and Dyson really looking pretty good as well. But we're watching the Zamola battle as we head down the source and down the pit straight that we're using today or tonight, whether you're watching. Here's Barry West. As we said, he had some difficulties after the first lap through the source. Lost a wheel, not sure how that happened, but trying his best to kind of lick his wounds after a great race last week at Monza, battling near the front of his class. And Craig, you actually had a chance to talk to Barry after the race, and it seemed like that
he was very happy with his finish.
Yeah, very happy with his finish. He loves just racing no matter where it is. He'll go wherever he can. And as long as he's having some rate battles, it doesn't matter what split he's in. That's what he loves to do. These three have been battling. In fact, while we were looking, they almost went side by side going into the start of Lecombe. And then I saw Hissada almost run into the back of Partonen. There was a little bit of a touch. I had to check any damage. Everybody's fine. But look at the speed Hissada's got coming down into La Fagna. He might try this around the outside. This is a very tough corner around the outside of La Fagna. It's like an elongated Lecombe. It's very long. And you can't make that move stick. Hissada, he had a lot of overspeed right now.
Silo, he's going to pass you every which way that he can, so he's somebody to watch out for. We see him in other series that we commentate here, and he is just quick. He's able to plant the car where he needs to, so that's always dangerous. Battle for fourth also heats up between Tyson and Banfield. It's the number 8 over the number 7. Look at that. They almost go side by side, your leaders do, heading into the chicane. Hissada takes the lead momentarily over Partonen, and looks like he's going to try and keep it around the inside of the chicane. Courtney also took Partonen for a ride there. Partonen's going to look to the outside on La Source, another area where it is tough to go to the outside. They're still side by side heading down the pit straight. This is some fantastic stuff. We saw this last week. We've seen it 2 weeks ago. It seems like, as we said, it's a Hissada and Partonen show at the stripe. It was almost .001. This is amazing as Partonen gets the lead back.
Can we just talk about how they just went side by side going up Eau Rouge, and just they hit Radion, Hissada had to yield. Partonen had the best line, and that has hindered Hissada right here. He may lose P2, and in fact he had. These three are bringing a barn burner today. And I mentioned that early race 2 hours ago. They did a little race just to warm up. Partonen beat Hissada by a 10th. It was then Zamalola, who's currently sick, who was behind them by half a second. Courtenay may decide that he wants to take the role of that number 5 car today, and he may just want to go in. But you think you've got Partonen, the number 3 car in iRacing, Courtenay, the number 1 car, Hissada, the number 6. These are some of the best in a 4,393 strength of field race today for the top split. Not one of the highest we've seen, but it could be one of the most competitive we've seen.
Well, depending on where you look, there's always a battle, always someone to race with. We're watching off the nose of Hissada as he tries to calculate his next move. He's fallen a position that he didn't want to have to do, so he's got to gain 2 to get back into that lead. Sparks still flying off the Courtenay, but not too much. As, these cars, they're ground effects cars, so you're going to see that. Now, the draft is helping Hissada catch up to Courtenay. Does he try another move on the inside to get back to that second place through the chicane? Courtenay just wiggling just a little bit, and they're going to go side by side through the chicane as Hissada makes that nose and he gets in there. But look at this. Now a 3-car battle for the lead turns into a 4-car battle for second place, Craig.
Yeah, there's almost going to be a 5-car battle for the lead. Hissada's got back once again. He's really good on late braking in this car. We saw it last week. We've seen it a couple of times this week. He has to catch up to Partonen now. Got clear air, no one behind him. Didn't have any mistakes there. Now he's able to just push on once again. Did not get the faster time because remember, he had to lift and yield going up the hill. Somebody asked him in the community chat, how is his tires right now? Well, we're not entirely sure. He's going to have to go on the deep end. Partonen's doing the IndyCar weave. Hissada decided to make his car like a London double-decker bus, and he's going to need it to be a bendy bus if he comes through to Lecombe. Holds on for this at the moment, but look at this queue right now. Partonen, Hissada, Courtenay, Peterson, and Banfield. Top 5 are all trying to fit on 3 places. Behind them, going up Freicha, he's still having a bit of fun.
Well, Freicha, now he's back up to close to where he qualified as well. He's all the way up to 8th place. He's in a battle with Raspudik and Reed. That's a 3-car battle right there. Going through turn number 11. A little bit of dust kicked up. No harm, no foul. But this further proves that everybody has someone to race with. Remember, Freicha qualified 6th. Thought he might get up near the front, but went all the way, lost 4 spots at the start. He's able to claw his way back up through the top 10. And he's got a sizable gap between he and Roseboro. But again, we've seen anything happen. We've seen how cars are able to catch up. And yeah, you see Roseboro up ahead, so that gap is shrinking. Last time I looked, it was about 4 seconds. Now it's down to 3.2 seconds. So Frisha, he wants to get back up to 6, maybe get into that top 5. He's sitting third in points, as we mentioned. Thought he could make hay after last week not being able to catch up with the top 2 at Monza, but Craig, he's still not doing too bad for 10 laps in.
No, it's crazy to think we're 10 laps in, we're almost at the halfway stage. And that just goes to show how quickly this race has been going. They've still got, well, another 10, 11 laps to go. Gabby Martinez is still battling. One of the mid-pack battles here, he's got Svensson right behind him. Looking at that timing tower, it is true. You've got a battle for first all the way to 5th. 6th and 7th having a battle. 8th, 9th, and 10th having a battle. 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th having a battle. And then everyone's in no man's land. So much battling. Casado once again going purple. This is Banfield. This is Banfield trying to battle distance as well. He's looking to get some moves. I don't think we'll see a change in the lead of the race. Saw Casada tripping into the 203s. That car is starting to get lighter, I feel, Jeremy.
It really is, and a light Togo is a happy Togo, as we see him just get nimbler and nimbler at the end of the race. But Banfield trying to keep in tow with Ison. Maybe they can catch up and make it that 5-car battle for the lead here shortly. We see the Hesada's 0.3 of a second behind Partanen. Partanen doing all he can to make it 4 in a row. Hesada, Portnami want to ruin that 4 in a row party. Here comes Daniel Gallus we're watching right now in the number 19. Gallus trying to hold off Kosesny for that 20th spot as they're heading down into the hairpin of turn number 10. Say, Kosesny doing he's doing pretty well so far this race. We've seen him a couple times with a couple of good moves.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is -1 for the day. Not the best race for him so far. Gallus +8 for the day. A lot of these drivers at the back of the pack managing to pick up on some of the scraps and early incidents. So you start to see that as he just keeps on getting closer. And to be fair, these guys may be near the back of the field. They're only 30 seconds behind the leaders. It's not like they're being close to being lapped or anything. It's just such a pace right at the front. It's really interesting to see these guys really going on hard. Look at the gravel that they're kicking up as well. Really using all of the exits here. Remember, when this track got renovated, the first race around here was the Spa 24 hours. That gravel was so sharp, drivers were getting punches. You won't be seeing any punches out here today. But just goes to show you don't want to do too much driving on that gravel. You see Jason Clapper trying to do his last to wherever he feels like it today. More time taken out, though, by the leaders. I think we may, at the front, see an overtake by Hesada.
As we're watching Togo trying to look to the outside, Hartman's going to make him go the long way around through Lacombe's, but nonetheless, we'll see if he pops out. Now, he's going to think better of it. Got plenty of other opportunities to pass here as we're working lap number 12 as just this battle between Partanen and Hesada is absolutely fantastic. Courtney, he is the interested spectator in all this as 4th and 5th have fallen back a little bit. You're on board with Hesada looking off the nose of that Lotus. Through turn number 11, they'll set themselves up for 12. And it looks like that Partanen's gotten his car the way he likes it, especially through these fast corners, which, as we know, Craig, there are a lot of them here at Spa.
He loves it. A lot of fast corners. He likes as well to have the car a little bit loose. I think a lot of that comes from his stage driving the Lotus 49s on a Saturday that he's taken a little bit of a sabbatical from this season. He's decided to focus on the 79, but he likes that car being a little bit loose. We saw it last week. We saw it the first week. Even saw it when he's battling Frisha at Sebring. He does like to just let that rear of that car go a little bit. These cars, ground effect downforce, sometimes he likes that ground effect to just lift off the ground a little bit, and he really makes it work on that nose camera, still catching Partanen. He's too far away to go for a lunge here. I think it's the last lap of a modern day Grand Prix layout here, but still got some time. 3/10 is the difference. A really good LaSource, that cambered LaSource could really set him up here. Keep your eyes on Courtenemi though.
We'll stick on this battle for a little bit because, yeah, like you said, you get a good exit out of LaSource, and that's going to set you up quite nicely. I don't think he's going to get it, though, as Partanen gets back on the gas quickly to click another lap off the charts, and That's one less lap he has to worry about, having Hisada right behind him. Craig, I want to go back to what you're talking about a little bit earlier, as you talk about the iRating. This is one of the crazier iRating splits that we have seen here, not only at GSRC, but on an iRacing broadcast.
It's crazy. I'm actually having a look, and this is up there with one of the higher strength of field races we've had. In fact, the highest strength of field race I can see ever was 4,852. And we're getting into that category right now. 4393, looking at our stats provided to us from the community, 4393 would put it about 8th overall in the ranking. So it is a top 10 strength of field race overall for these Lotus 79. Everyone can take part in this, just because even if you're not in the top split, there are 3 splits out there today, also heavily competitive and heavily balanced, just to show you the decent pace. The man who won second split last week, his pace was so good, he would have finished in the top 10 in top split. That just goes to show how competitive everywhere is right now. Nick Fisson as well, still trying to battle on with Cortinemi. He's catching up. Very interesting to see, because he had the fastest lap last time, took that away from Hisada.
And Craig, I'm gonna have you look and see how many races that is overall, because that's interesting that with the 8th highest strength of field here, because we're watching this battle with Tyson in 4th place, Cortinemi in 3rd, so Tyson able to catch up with them. Not too far away is Banfield, so now we'll have a 3-car battle for 3rd place, and behind them, Zamola and Roseboro. So a lot of great battles here, but this battle for the lead heats up once again between Hisada in 2nd, Partanen in the lead. They're a lot closer than they have been down the pit straight. About a 1 to 2 car length gap separates them. Hisada looks to the inside, thinks better of it, really catches up with them through Rodillion and Eau Rouge. I should say Rouge and Rodillion down the Kemal straight, Craig. They're going to be nose to tail once again.
You know what? I think Hisada did a lift. I think he was too close to Partanen going up Eau Rouge, and when he got to Radion, he just had to go to about 90% throttle, take a lot of that overspeed off, because he could not make it, and the laps are starting to tick down. Man, we also haven't talked about again, this is Arturas Kundalis up 2 places today. Not a driver we usually see here in the 79s, as Gabriel Martinez having a little bit of a slide and another slide. They come together. That is unfortunate. That's 3 wheels on Kundalis' wagon. That is such a shame. I think it looked like Martinez just losing control of the car there, trying to keep that speed on, and at some point that ground effect downforce, it's going to tap out, and that was where it tapped out.
And of course, that's given Blair a chance to get up into 13th right now. Just what a shame to see that happen right where it is. Clapper off course as well. Sure what happened there, but looks like his day will end in the Lacombe chicane. Here's Gallus in 17th spot. And of course, we're seeing the cars get a little squirrely. So we're getting to that point in the race, Craig, where now you got to make sure that your setup is going to have you last here to the end of the race.
It now comes into the point now where tires are going to start to fall off. Sounds crazy in what is basically a 45-minute race, but it happens, and it does happen, especially if you make a slide, you start to overheat the tires. So let's look at this GSRC replay. Jason Clapper coming back through Lacombe, and I wonder if it was just one of these cars just trying to recover themselves. Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Oh, that's definitely not what you want to see. That was one of those cars that was in that incident. I think that was Martinez trying to pull off the side of the road. Fortunately, that was the way Clapper was going. Something had to give. He did not have the time to react. So unfortunate there for the man from the northwest. As Partanen, he's having to defend. The sparks are flying. I didn't see a lift from Hisada this time. I think he's got a good run. Would he go left? Would he go right? This is like Strike It Rich. He's not going to be lucky this time, though. And in fact, I think he lifted again, Jeremy.
Yeah, got a little close, didn't pop out with enough time, but then again, you don't want to pop out too early on the Kemal Straight, because any advantage you have could get lost really quickly going into that braking zone into the Combs. As once again, the field starting to bunch up near the front with this battle between Partanen and Hisada. Now we're starting to see the shade fall over the circuit, so that also will have a part to play. Now track temperature about 23 degrees Celsius, 74 degrees Fahrenheit. with an air temperature 19 degrees Celsius and 66 Fahrenheit. Partonen, well, that was a little wide from him through Campos.
Yeah, still a little bit wide, but nobody panic. Nobody panic. We're getting into the business end here, and it's still absolutely mind-boggling that the top 10 are still 10 seconds apart from each other, unlike in the modern Formula One that we see nowadays. That would be the gap between first and third. This is how close it is around here. And Partonen, he knows one mistake, he's not losing the lead. He's losing a lot more. And I think that is also what everybody else around him realizes. You want to be safe and you want to be precise with these overtakes. You just got to be very careful. Partonen is having to take the defense almost to the traditional racing line for the chicane now, as you go from the right, or the middle right, all the way to the left as you go for braking. Just stops Hesada. Not many places he can do that though, Jeremy, because when he comes up to Radion, he comes through there down to the Kemmel Straight. There's not going to be a lot of opportunity, and I feel again, if Hesada can time this right and doesn't need to look for a lift anywhere, he might have this overtake done.
And then one has to wonder if he's just waiting for the right moment. He doesn't want to make the move too early because he made that move earlier and ended up losing the lead and lost a couple places. Zamola with the fastest lap with the 2:03.2. As we watch down the Kemmel Straight off the back of Partonen, Hesada's close, but not close enough to make anything happen. So Hesada's saving equipment. 16 laps in, it's about 5 laps to go. I have this feeling that Hesada knows what he has. He's just trying to size up where the right move and when is going to be. But unfortunately, he still has Courtney and the rest of the field behind him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because actually keep your eyes on what Courtney can do. Remember the start of the race when he made that great move to send it 3 wide on the start? He's still there. Nick Peterson as well. He's right there as well. I feel if you're Courtney, you're in the best seat in the house. You're in the high seat in the cinema with the popcorn and the soda in your cup holder. You're waiting for this to start because he knows one mistake, all of a sudden he'll be leading. I'll have to get the stats up. We do have a nice little stats done by the community. Can't remember the last time Courtney has won a race around here. In fact, has he won a race? Yes, he's got 14 wins. Last time he won, I'm going to have to look. It's been a while. He hasn't been here, but he might cause a surprise here today.
And nothing like playing spoiler again. If you miss the open, Partonen, he's won the first 3 races. Hesada trying to spoil that party, but Courtney's trying to spoil both of them as they come around the chicane once again. Hesada closes in, but not close enough to make a move happen. Let's see what he sets up through La Source. As we clock another lap, only 5 laps to go. Once the field crosses the line, and Hesada still under that rear wing of Partonen down the front stretch. That's giving Courtney a chance to kind of lay back and see what happens through Eau Rouge. And we've got Timothy Reed slow in the top 10. Let's see if we can get a replay with that. But nonetheless, here comes Hesada. He's going to the outside, prove us all wrong, and try and get a pass through the Kemmel Straight side by side. Hesada has the nose out front, but Partonen has the line to get the lead back. Combs, but Hesada sticks it to the outside. They're still going to stay side by side as Partonen right now has a half car length in front, but Hesada is going to try to do what he can to get around turn number 10. He has the lead momentarily. Partonen's not going to make it easy for him.
Not going to make it easy for him. There was still some overlap they had to respect it, and Courtney had a run, and Courtney had to back right out. And this is going to be very brave into Pujon to try this side by side. And you know what? They tried to do it, but Partonen is not close enough. And now Hesada's going to have to defend into Lafagna. And this is where Hesada tried to go around the outside earlier. Did not work for him, so Partonen will just step back. He will start to prepare. Now the question is, what does Partonen have for late braking? It is safe to say Hesada, as we look at the Timothy Reed incident picture-in-picture, looks like it's a tussle up there. Yeah, it is safe to say Hesada, one of the best late breakers on the sim. What can Partonen do to combat that? I don't think he's got anything. He will need to do this with a run down the Kemmel Straight.
last spin from Reed, and we'll see what happens as Partanen looks to the what will be the outside, heading into the chicane. They're side by side. Hisada has the advantage for the first corner, but not the second one. As Partanen gets back in the lead. This is about what we saw last time Partanen took the lead back from Hisada. Now they head down the Grand Prix pit straight as they're side by side. Courtney tried to make it 3 wide for a little bit, but Partanen shut the door on him as they go a little bit of a touch through La Source. Move Partanen back to the lead, but for how long? As Hisada still wants that lead heading into Eau Rouge. 2 wide's crazy, 3 wide might be a little bit more, but Hisada decides to think better of it and goes single file through Eau Rouge.
Single file, they go on the top 6, 4 seconds between each other, and Partanen's decided he's going to be an American and take the right. Hisada's going to have to be the Brit. He takes the left. He's going to try to do this around the outside of the Lecombe once again. Can't make it. Here comes the rest of them. Courtenay now got the overlap, and he's going to take Peter away. He can't hold it at Malmedy. Hisada's got a little bit of the gravel, holds onto it, but the inside is still there for Courtenay. Really fighting this, trying not to interlock those tires. A good run on the throttle there on the exit there for Courtenay. Can't do it. Partanen will be looking at this in his rearview mirror. He'll be licking his lips. He's extended that lead, and what a time to extend it.
And Hisada saying, can we really do this for about 3 laps? The answer is no, as Hisada now has his sights set back once again on Partanen. Again, this is the battle for the lead, looking off 3rd place Courtenay. And of course, he's also got several cars behind him, several very fast cars. By the way, it looks like Roseboro now involved, so this is a 7-car battle for the lead.
7-car battle. Who was fastest last lap? Gunnar Friescher. It could be an 8-car battle to finish this race. This is what you want to see on a Sunday afternoon for the Lotus 79. And Hisada's caught right back up to Partanen. And now everybody is together. The timing tower shows you the gap between everybody. What you need to know, the top 7 are 1.7 seconds between 1st and 7th. Hisada still looking. Late braking. You can't do that, Togo. You cannot do that, and he can't hold it, but a slide from Partanen, and still Partanen holds it. They're giving everything out there today, Jeremy.
Yeah, and Courtenay tried to make it 3 wide, and he goes to the inside of Togo, heading into La Source. They're side by side. Peterson also trying to get some position as well, as Courtenay now wants his shot at Partanen for the lead. As Togo not going to make it happen too far, they're going to try and go battle nose to tail through Eau Rouge. As Friescher once again goes fast lap. So yeah, we will see an 8-car battle here shortly. Down the Kemmel straight, Courtenay more aggressive than Togo's been. He goes to the inside in Lecombes, and he's going to back off. No, he's going to try and stay to the outside. Now the inside. He's every which way but sideways to get that lead. He's tired of sitting there in 3rd. He's tired of sitting 2nd, Craig, because he wants that lead.
He wants that lead. You know what? I think he saved his tires in time, and he's forcing the issue on Partanen. He may get this around the outside of No Name. There's no way you can do it through No Name, and he almost held it, but loses the momentum. And now Hisada is going to look at this himself. Nobody is moving around in the back of this 8-car train for the lead. This is not a trolley train. This is not an Alonso train, not a Maldonado train. It's a Partanen train. It's a train of 8 of the best drivers. In fact, the top 8 iRacing drivers are in this train right now. Absolute chaos.
Everybody getting single files. We complete the back part of the circuit. Partanen's opened up to about a half-second gap. This is the biggest gap that he's had since this freight train has come on. Look at Friescher's on board as well as he wheels in Roseboro, tries to get onto the draft. Now everybody kind of calmed down, is heading through Blanchemont and into the chicane. Looking at Courtenay, looking to the outside. Everybody kind of saying a line and stern through the chicane. They'll come down the Grand Prix pit straight, head the right-hander into La Source, and they'll get 2 laps to go around Spa. Any other circuit, it would be frantic, but because it's Spa, it's so long, anything can happen.
And Jeremy, welcome to the game of chess, because if you're Partanen, you will want to lose the lead right now, because you will bank on yourself to getting that lead back on these straights or at the chicane. So let's see what happens. He will still defend this, and Courtenay's going to try and go around the outside. Partonen knows he's a legend. He's just going to do a little bit of a squeeze, and there is still overlap. And I love this right now. And Partonen's just decided, I'm going to brake early, and I'm going to force you to make a mistake. It's not worked. It's not worked because Topi Courtenay has managed to hold that on, and he is now taking the lead that he has not had since the start of the race. Behind him are 7 of the top drivers that you will find in this car. Peter Quesney, unfortunately, having a moment in the background, in the middle of the pack. But these 8 drivers, and I can't believe I keep saying it, Jeremy, these 8 drivers, any one of them right now has a chance of this victory.
Well, give a hand to Topi. A little sideways going through Lacombe and still able to get into the lead. Partonen now calculating. Does he want to wait till now? Does he want to wait till later to make the move? Because he's got Togo Hisada under his rear wing once again. The Finnish driver, Courtenay, with the lead so far. And he's opened up to about 0.3 of a second gap. It's single file, and now we've got a group of 5 and a group of 3. So a split between Banfield and Zamola. Zamola's holding off Roseboro and Freesia as well. Freesia trying to get up, and he's been really logging fast lap after fast lap. Here comes Partonen to the inside of the chicane. Not going to make anything happen. Courtenay shuts the door on him. That's one opportunity there. Now, you've got about 3 or 4 opportunities left once you get the 1 to go signal coming off of La Source. Courtenay opens up almost a half-second gap going down the Grand Prix pit straight, as now it's one last time. Drop the hammer. What have you got to get back into the lead? Anything can happen here, Craig, as we're down to 1 lap to go.
Barney with the white flag, and here they go for one last time up Overrood and Radion. And I think Hassan's got a really good run. Beeson's got a slow down. Beeson missed the corner. He's gone for a slowdown. Who does Partonen want to help? Does he want to help the Finn, or does he want to help the Japanese driver? And he's helping both of them. Hassan's going to have to be tight. It's actually Courtenay helping. A slide from Partonen. That could be it. It has been a year since we've seen Finnish dominance in this series, and we could get a Finland 1-2. Banfield in the background takes the position away. They're still fighting behind as well, as the Mola trying to keep off from Preacher. These drivers are still battling, but the gap is 0.8 of a second. I don't think Partonen is going to be able to hold it.
And that is what Courtenay needed, that one slide through Lacombs. Remember last lap, Courtenay had a little bit of a slide, but not that big. Down through the back portion of the circuit, the Finnish driver trying to win here for the first time this season. Be the first driver to actually win that's not named Partonen. He's doing it so far. As you look back, that second place battle between Partonen and Hisada still brewing as they're nose to tail. Of course, got a couple of other opportunities between the chicane and La Source. We've seen how close those two have been able to make their way through the field, but now they've got to watch somebody else run towards that top step of the podium. Just a couple of more corners to go, and remember, we're side by side as Partonen tried to hold off Hisada. Togo Hisada back to second place. For now, though, I think he might be a little bit too far away to make any sort of move on Courtenay, but we race to the line as Hisada takes everything down low and makes Partonen work for it, as he has the past couple of times. Partonen on the outside of Hisada. They're side by side. Togo takes it, but for the first time in 133 days, Topi Courtenay makes a bold move through Lacombs. He's going to take the win. And Partonen, I believe it's Hisada actually in second place. Partonen in third in what was a fantastic battle here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Hisada finally beat Partonen. The caveat is Hisada still gets a second place. The gap between them was a 10th, the exact gap they had earlier today, but Courtenay has taken it all to the end. Jack Wilson is going to get it finished. The times are official. Those top 8, everybody was almost 3/10 between everybody. Absolute madness, and the great work here, and they're still battling in the background here. This is Gallus just holding off, or Ryan West, sorry, just holding off with Tyler Green ahead of them. Real good driving. The gap, though, look at that gap, Jeremy. 3 seconds between first and 8th. Might be an all-time close finish.
Wasn't as close for 1-2 as we saw, but yeah, everybody nice and tight throughout the field, especially the front half of the field. Yeah, we got to take a deep breath after that one. Topi Kortaniemi, your winner over Togo Hisada. Paulie Partonen finishes off in third. Then it's Ross Banfield, Nick Thiessen, Brandon Roseborough rounds out your top six. Oli Zamola in seventh. Gernal Frisha tried to make it up there, but I'll tell you what, valiant effort for him to get into that 8-car train for the lead near the end, finishes 8th. Luke Raspudik in 9th. Timothy Reed rounds out your top 10.
We get to the second page, and it would be Kjell Enya Svensson, who be 11th, with Philip Kuhnhardt making 6 places up to finish in 12th. And it's Aaron Blair, who finishes 13th. Jack Wells gets 11 places up the order to finish 14th, with Tyler Green just holding off Ryan Ware and Daniel Gallas for 15th, 16th, and 17th, respectively. Ryan Turncourt will be 18th, with Alex Marsh King in 19th. Peter Kwesny had a really good run, and then a couple moments at the end of the race. Unfortunately, he finishes 20th.
Barry West, 21st. Paul Williams, 22nd. Hans Sommer, 5 laps down in 23rd. And Gabri Martinez, that whole incident between he, Condelis, and Clapper really ended their race quite sourly, I should say, if that's even a word. 24th, 25th, and 26th. Jack David Spickett and Dylan Freckleton only makes it 1 to 2 laps there at the end. Wow, that was a fantastic race, I've got to say, Craig, because we saw a lot of great battles, and it doesn't matter if it was up near the front or at the back, but nonetheless, it was just fantastic to watch the development of this race.
Do you know what I love is, everyone will probably say, but they were in a procession for a while. No, but they won. They won. They were all just trying to feel each other out in what they wanted to do, where they wanted to go. They keep a look at the highlight to start this race. This was very important to start the race, because we did see Kortaniemi get a good run to get that lead. He did not make it stick. However, he was able to get it back later in the race. I just want to watch it back, because look at the commitment to make this free wide early on. Everyone's got to give that respect, and it was so good to give that respect. I'm pretty sure that you're going to give him a very nice interview, because I think he may be coming up to our commentator's booth. I think you've got the microphone ready in hand for him.
Yeah, we do. We want to welcome in our winner, the first winner that has not been named, Paulie Partonen, Topi Kortaniemi, I'm sorry. Congratulations, first of all. What a hard-fought race. What was it like from your point of view?
Oh, thank you. I was just trying to play it smart, because I figured out I have a less poor pace than Togo or Pauli, but maybe in the end of the stint my car started to work better, and I was able to pull a gap to Pauli, which I was surprised, and but what a race. Got me sweating a little.
Well, that pass for the win as well. You had a little bit of a Scandinavian flick, to say the least. Were you able to save your tires? And once you got in the lead, how tough was it to stay in the lead?
It was easier than I thought, because I thought Pauli was faster than me, and he could move back and counterattack. But no, I don't know if he overcooked the tires or something, but we'll see.
Well, nonetheless, a fantastic win for you. What do you have to look forward to the rest of the season? Are we going to see you in a couple more races?
Maybe I'll hop in if the track is good, if I have time. It's springtime, so I should be outside on Sunday evenings, but we'll see.
Well, Topi, congratulations. Great to have you on board this weekend. What a great win, and some great passes as well.
Thank you.
So, Topi, once again, with a great win. Craig, I've got to say this. It seemed like, yeah, I didn't have the best car, but nonetheless was able to get up the front. Who do you got?
Yeah, well, I got Togo Hisada, who has joined me beside. The first thing I've got to say, Togo, is finally you get to beat Pauli in a race, but you've got to feel that first place was yours to have.
Yeah, I wanna take the victory under the beat the Pauli, but sometimes it's happening. And actually, I intentionally make a move to Pauli so early a lot to make the pack racing, because the first 3 rounds I was battle with Pauli one by one, and every time I lose. So I need something new. Yeah. So the Spa is great to so hard, so strong slipstream track, and when I joined today's race, I see Topi, Lotus, Oyer, Nick, a couple of fast guys out there. So yeah, I'm trying to make a big top group, top pack, and see what happens. And in the end, I took the second place, so not great, but it should be positive effect to the point standing. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, 4 second places, always good to see. It's consistency. One thing we've talked about, and it's something I don't think a lot of people watching know. You like a loose car. You like to slide the car. Is that a preference, or is that just your driving style? Because no matter what car I see you drive, Togo, you love to slide the rear of that car out. Is that just how you prefer driving?
Yeah, but personally, I think the Pauli setup is more looser, more oversteer than my setup. Yeah, I think so. But these cars and these tires, it's very unique. And the big slide causes a loss on the acceleration, but just a slide, little bit slide or twitch, just no effect with the acceleration, or I try to accelerate for full grip, the car will understeer. So the Lotus 49, the 79s are very unique cars in iRacing. So the might be different, setups, or a bit different driving style for the modern GT3 cars or GTP cars, I think. But especially the 79 and 49, my driving style is suit. Yep.
We love seeing you in whatever cars. It's always good to see you. Next week, Circuit of the Americas, COTA. What are your expectations? Because it's always a tricky track.
Yeah, very tough to follow the front end guys. I guess so. Trying to take a pole position, trying to take a lap leader, and then I wish to running away from Pauli, but I think he's so fast in every week, every circuit. So it's gonna be tough.
Well, it's 2 pole positions in a row for Togo. It's 4 second places in a row for Togo. Should be good for the championship. Togo, it's great seeing you. We look forward to seeing you next time out.
Thank you.
Togo Hisada there, who finished 2nd overall, Jeremy. And it's only fair for the man who said he was looking for the youth to try and overtake him, Jeremy. You're with him. I don't think the youth's overtaken him just yet.
No, they haven't, but nonetheless, let's talk to our 3rd place finisher, points leader, Paulie Parton. Paulie, you had such great battles up near the front, but it was a fellow Finn who took the top spot from you. Great racing regardless. Let's talk about your thoughts of, you didn't get that 4 in a row, but you're still on top with 3 wins.
Yeah, I was leading the race almost all race, and then finally I'm P3, so of course I feel a bit bummed about that, but we had a great battle, and what a fun we had with Topi and Togo. I know Topi from past season. He's like my toughest enemy ever, and Topi showed today why. Like he was able to make a setup that way. It was actually a bit slow maybe on the lap, but he had a super awesome speed on the straight, and I really didn't have anything I could do against him. And I was battling so hard with Togo that my rear tires were cooking up, so I had very little grip left at the last laps, and that's actually the reason why Togo was able to overtake me also on the last lap, because like I had no grip, and when I was breaking down to the last couple of corners, I knew already that I'm going to lose this because there's so little grip. My rear was so bad. But yeah, good race. I had fun. P3 is not what I wanted, but always happy to have good races. That's the important part.
Well, and that leads to my next question that you somewhat answered with your rear tires. How hard was it, I should say, to save your tires with such fast drivers behind you, knowing one slip up and that was going to be game over?
Yeah, it was super hard. I don't know if you I saw that, but I had many moments where my rears get very loose on the braking. I think also in last lap and the second last lap too. So it's hard, and maybe I was pushing a bit too much. Usually I don't make rookie mistakes, but I think I was pushing too much today. Maybe the fact that Topi was here made me a bit too nervous. I don't know. But yeah, I was pushing too much on the corners, and that made my rears very loose, and it was so hard last lap. It was so difficult, and thank God I didn't lose the car. Like, it was quite close on the last lap when I was braking on the first corner. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard, I can tell you.
I was going to say, we heard that you won the practice race by a tight margin once again. What is it with you in leading in tight margins to where you're able to get up front and really stay there, but keep everybody behind you?
Well, I have practiced a lot about defending. Like back in the day, 2 years ago, I had a very good friend Jukka here racing. Actually, he was my teammate for years, and we practiced a lot about defending and overtaking. Like, we had close battles, like we had the same setups and we had same telemetry. We knew everything that other guy can do, so we kind of have like a equal pace. So I learned a lot about defending and overtaking back then. So I think I'm quite good with it. Okay, not best, but I think I'm quite good with it. And I think also the qualification is usually my strong point, and the race is not. It has always been like that. That some reason I usually have the better quality and better races, so maybe that's also one of the reasons for that. But yeah, Togo has been struggling this season with the starts. Now he got a very good start, so I think he finally got it right. So it will be way harder next race to keep Togo behind if I'm not able to be in front of him at the first corner.
Well, Paulie, congratulations. Either way, a fantastic race. You're now 4 on the podium, so not a bad start to the season.
Yeah, it's not. Thank you.
So, Craig, once again, we've seen a lot of great battles here, and Paulie, I've got to say, a gracious in defeat, but still with his 3 wins, stays in that points lead.
Still with that points lead, but it is still so tight between the two at the top, Hesada and Partonen. This almost feels a lot like the mid-2010s in F1. Or let's go back to the classic racing. This feels like the 80s and the 70s, where you've got 2 drivers dominating and they are battling each other. Really looking forward to see what happens for the rest of the season. Kota is going to be a wild card just with how crazy it is. There it is. Really looking forward to see what that track provides with the cars. Always is the track that the drivers like because of a lot of space. Drivers also dislike it because it's very tough to sight your corners. And in these classic cars, it is oh so tight. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. It could separate these two. You never know. This could be a drop week that one of these drivers must use.
Yeah, especially because with these ground effects, you're going to see a lot of closing in on the chicane, through the S's, I should say, and of course the long straightaways with that backstretch. Oh, so long. Doesn't matter what series you're racing in, it always makes for a fun race. Again, you're going to catch you next week here on iRacing, 16:30 UTC, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time for those on the East Coast. As well, I've got to say this, Craig, it's been fantastic past couple of minutes. We've seen nothing but great racing. Your final thoughts?
I love what I've been seeing this season. It's been great not only to just watch it, but to bring it to everybody, to show light on this fantastic series. 2 races have produced massive highlights, and there are 4 races that have just provided non-stop highlights. You could go back and watch all of these on the iRacing channel because you just don't want to miss what you've seen. In fact, you just don't want to miss next Sunday, I feel. This is almost must-watch television.
It really is. And of course, you don't want to miss next week with Coda, even though it's a newer track. I think that these cars are going to race nicely. So on behalf of all the staff here at GSRC, I'm Jeremy Scott. Thanks for joining us again. Next week is Coda. You'll definitely want to watch on Easter Sunday. So as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you at the track.
This is iRacing.